the VIGs, vegan interest groups, I would say, and that's why the ways that I see it, that everyone can either suggest explorable subject, and explorable subject are the subjects that are going along with the visions that we have. So every subject that, according to a person, can contribute to the vision is by definition explorable subject. So everyone can suggest explorable subject. Everyone can apply to join to a group. He cannot join automatically, or she cannot join automatically, because it depends on the group itself to accept a person. There are several reasons that the group might deny accepting person. For instance, if the group it becomes too big, it's not advisable to be too big in these VIGs. Another reason is that it needs a specific knowledge, and but people can be definitely spectators or audience in any groups that they want, and I don't think that needs to be denied to any person. So they can suggest, they can join, or they can lead a group. So they can suggest that they want to be to take an explorable subject that is already there, or to come with their own explorable subject, and they say, I want to lead the group, or I want to be a member in this group. So all the options are available: suggest, join, lead. Now, basically, VIG are minimum 3 people, maximum recommended 10 people. 4 to 7 vegan people gather around the subject they are passionate about. So it's important. The main thing is that the person will be passionate about the subject that they want to explore. The idea right now, which is going very well with the I would say limitations that we have because of the pandemic, is through Zoom meeting. So they meet once a week in Zoom meeting, and they can recommend to choose the sources the group studies from. So each one of the people there can suggest, I want to use this source, this source, this source, and they can arrange a plan. They can plan how to approach it. I will show later on example how it can be applied in one of the subjects that I intend to lead. The group creates a presentation, and that's important, because what the group does is they create a presentation that usually it's quite short. It's not more than 10 minutes. And the subject and what they are going to present, they are going to present in the assembly, and the General Assembly. So the General Assembly meets once every month, and the group meets once every week. So they can build up on the subject that they chose, and at the General Assembly they can use 5 to 10 minutes in order to explore the subject, to explain, to do it in a nice presentable way what they gather throughout this month. So that's basically the idea of what they are doing. So as we say, the subject that the group chooses is called explorable subject, and they are invited either to suggest an explorable subject, join existing VIG, lead the VIG, and now we can go into watching examples of different explorable subject, just I would say to entertain or to tease the mind or stimulate the mind, that to give or to provide some examples, and people that can choose out of them or can come with their own explorable subject. Doesn't need to be one of those that are in the list that will follow. So, for instance, we can start with the health group or VIG, and some of the items: why vegan is good for health, optimize health by vegan choices, why other alternatives are bad, vegan for different groups, elderly, pregnancy, children. And as we will see later on, we will see that I explored it much more, and I broke it down to many sections that we can see how we can dissect the subject into many sub-subject or sections, so it will be more digestible rather than to be a chunk of knowledge. And that in that way we can be much more accurate and more efficient and get more knowledge. You suggest who is the lead. For instance, I just put myself here. And what are the sources that we start with? It doesn't need to be only these sources, but these are the main sources that we can start with. Vegan for Life by Jack Norris and Virginia Messina, and Fiber Fueled by Will Bulcevich. I think that these are the two big resources that came out just in this year, 2020, that can be a very good example, and they lead very nicely the vegan health in general, and they complement, by the way, each other. So I don't want to get into details right now about them, but they are very, very, I would say, pillars here, very essential, very basic groups that we can build of, fundamental groups that we can build on. Now, I'll touch very shortly about others, because again, I didn't explore them. I leave it to the groups that that are interested in them. This is one of the groups, by the way, that I'm interested in, spirituality. What is spirituality in general? What purpose does it serve in humanity in general? How to differ the spirituality from a cult, for instance. There is a lot of material here about spirituality, how to celebrate spirituality. Can we completely differentiate it from religion, and so forth? So there are very interesting questions in this group. I'm very interested, and I can either lead it or to be a member in it, but definitely it's one of my interests. Animal Sanctuary, that very popular VIG, and that people already started to gather around. What is the moral basis of Animal Sanctuary? There is animal rights, popular, very not popular, I would say, very basic philosophy books that everything was built on, and which animal can be or need to be included, how to build and operate it, and so forth. There are many questions, that part of some of them might be technological, some of them might be philosophical, and some of them might be completely administrative, and how to apply it, and how to build up animal sanctuary in general, or maybe even to run it in reality, and to gather information from experiment in the ground. So a lot of things that can be done around this subject, and there is a lot of interest in it. Greenhouse is definitely one of the main tools that vegan people will be interested in, and that's by itself, because of its importance, generates a subject or explorable subject by itself, because there is a lot around greenhouses. How mainly, I would say, in the greenhouses is a lot of technological items, and how to build it, what to build it, what type of greens or plants can be grown there, how to adjust it, and in a different climates, and what types of greenhouses, because there are greenhouses that might be very big and for a city, and can be greenhouses that it can be personal, and everything in between. So a lot of interesting questions around greenhouses, and it's definitely uh, interests some of the people that might explore it and share the knowledge around it. Gardening. Now, it's not necessarily gardening as we can see here. It can be permaculture. So we are talking about gardening in the large scale of it, on the in the broad spectrum of gardening. So we're talking about either in as large as in a city, in a vegan city, a future vegan city, or it can be how do you use the gardening with the technologies that we have now, that you can use it at home. And we have different kinds of gardenings that can be very compact these days. And so there is a lot of things that can be stated here. In addition, GMO versus non-GMO, there is a lot of debate around it. Fertilizers, organic versus non-organics, and so forth. So many things that will be interesting to discuss around this subject. And of course, the group will come with many other ideas around it. Vegan recipes, that's definitely a very popular group to come up with innovative recipes, delicious, interesting, and nutritious recipes. I would say I'm very fond of the four basics of a good recipe. So good recipe needs to be, first of all, tasty. If it's not tasty, it's not a good dish. Nobody will eat it. So it needs to be tasty. Second, it needs to be healthy. Again, because these are the two main. And then it needs to be also some things that can be achieved or can be done. So it means it needs to be, I would say, affordable money-wise. It's not that you are going to do something with that will be too expensive or rare. You need to find it in a different in really just remote places, and to pay a lot of money for it. And it needs to be relatively easy to prepare. So these are the four pillars, I would say, of vegan recipes. And this group can create many interesting ideas, including potlucks and competitions in recipes. And of course, every other people from the other groups can participate in one way or the other. But it's really very enjoyable group, I would say, not only for the taste, but also for the visual, as we can see from this slide, and needs also quite a bit of knowledge about nutrition and so forth. Vegan and relationship. This is a very interesting group. I hear all the time people that want to meet another person, and they prefer to meet persons that will be vegan, and it's not so easy to find it if you are not targeting the right person. So there is a lot of issues around it, a lot of issues about relationship, not only about, we are not talking about only romantic relationship like vegan dating, but there are many others interesting relationships that develop between vegan and non-vegans. For instance, if someone in the house is vegan, someone is not, how to overcome the tension and how to make things, how to work things smoothly. This is quite an interesting group that I will be also quite interested to take part in. And there is more and more materials that is started to be gathered around it. And a lot of people can share as well in this group from their own experience. So it leads to a lot of creativity and I would say psychological background. Waste reduction again, it's very practical subject, very, I would say, needed, contemporary, important subjects that we all looking for, how to reduce the waste right now, and that's lead easily to the eco-friendly part of the vegan group, which goes hand in hand in another subject that we can see in another group, is how to be energy efficient. So this is a waste reduction part, but the other side of it is to be energy efficient, which we'll probably will find it later on. This is another group which is there is a lot of material that needed to be covered here. What is the right education in general? It doesn't need to be, we are not talking about education about vegan necessarily, but here you can expand the mind and to look about how you can think out of the box and to develop, to bring up, I would say, peoples that will be more thinkers and critical thinker, I would say, and with more experience in life rather than only book readers and or learning things by rote or by heart. And here it can be explored in, and I had a lot of conversation about it. Many people don't feel that the education system as it is right now answer the needs of the 21st century, and many people fall aside and fall out of the wagon during the whole education process, I would say. So the whole idea here is to think how it can be different, how to build up a different institution that can achieve the goal of people that can be compassionate, that can be good citizens, can be leaders, that after that can serve the community and serve the world in the best way possible. So this is a very, I would say, ambitious program or group, but it can be as ambitious as the group choose, and they can choose to focus more on the vegan side, or they can explore more about education in general. So it leaves a lot of room for exploration. Raising vegan children is really a very, very important part. I hear all the time from vegans that come to talk with me about it, how to, when we are talking about raising, is not only about food, it's combining, I would say, the food, the education, values, several things that coming together. And maybe in the vegan city, it's much easier to do that when they are surrounded by people or people that have or share the same values. But when they are surrounded by people that are not vegan, it's definitely much more challenging. So I'm sure that there are people that will be very, very interested in this subject, especially people that have young children or those that plan to have children, and they will be interested how to raise them in the best way. And there are very good books on this subject that were developed, and that will be, of course, the base to start. Building community is a challenge by itself. Here, the idea is to learn from existing community and how to build it in the right way. What does it mean a right way, and how communities like that looks like, how the decision is made there, and how it's, it's politics, is institutions, it's economy, I would say, how everything is run in this community is an interesting subject by itself that can be explored by people that will take this subject. And that leads to the vegan economy, which is definitely very interesting subject by itself, which part of it is cryptocurrency, that we have very good books that came, I would say, in the last few years with the Bitcoin, one of the most famous maybe, but there are many other cryptocurrency. We heard about in the Vegan World 2026, we heard about Aquarius, but many people don't really understand still what and how cryptocurrency works. So the whole idea is to explore it and to understand how it works, why it might be better than what we have right now, and not only the currency, how about to replace the ways that the whole system works, instead of pure capitalism or pure socialism, why not to combine these two and to have something that is, I would say, social capitalism. So some things that some books combine, like the Clean Money book that describe very existing companies that use their money to invest in vegan endeavors, or I would say different kinds of initiations to improve the world, or to make the world better place to be in. And again, how to distribute the money in the vegan city. We know right now about the gap between the poor people, the rich people, and this is one of the huge gaps that is in the States, as opposed, let's say, to countries like the Scandinavian countries, which the gap is, I would say, the smallest, or even other countries like Japan, which we know that they function in many ways better than what's going on in the United States. So how the distribution of money can be in the vegan city or vegan state, or so this can be a kind of discussion. What will be the best way to do, maybe later on to be implemented, but at first a discussion about how money can be distributed in a more just way, in a more efficient way, that will affect the whole population in this let's say utopia right now, utopic city. Vegan production is groups that can come with ideas how to use different product, or how the vegan city can use their resources in order to come with different products to export or import, and to do business in order to bring money into the vegan city, or into a small a company, profit or non-profit. So different kinds of produce that can be generated by the people that live there. So this is a very interesting angle, I would say, of that some people will be very interested in. Vegan governance is basically how to run a vegan city, or it goes maybe more into politics and what is fair and equity, and how to elect people, and what type of regime, I would say, we would like ideally to have in something like ideal vegan state or city in the future. This is more technological part, is the architecture and the smart houses, how how this function, what it should include, different kinds of models, and balance between, I would say, visual and efficiency. All of those things can be implemented, and some of them are already implemented in different places that can be, this group can bring and compare and to discuss it. Definitely it will be interested people that come from architecture, or people that come from different engineering subject will be really interesting. Um, So landscaping and urban development, I think it's speaks by itself. It's something how this is more applied, I would say, to the future vegan city, how this should look like. And if I touched it a little bit in my speech about the blue zone, when we talked about when the blue zone discussed the changes that the city can do in order that the citizens will be more healthy. For instance, to broaden the sidewalks on the expanse of roads, maybe to enable only, just as an idea, to enable only electrical cars to enter the city, to find different kinds of solution of transportation, and how the gardening and how the city will be integrated into the view, into the scape of the surrounding and the nature. So a lot of interesting things here, more interesting to a specific to build up a city. Marketing, this is something that is very important to everyone, I would say, that want to grow. How to I would say publish or promote the whole ideas that we are talking about, how to support vegan products, people and businesses that use vegan products, how to support them and to enable them to flourish, to give them more, to give them support. You can say that it is going hand in hand with kind of activism, definitely, but it needs really some expertise in building websites, social media, and those kind of things. People might really find it very interesting. Those that are interested in this in marketing. Vegan coaching is very important subject that I encounter quite often. I hear people that want to become vegan and they don't know how. Now I can give them some tips on how to do it, but they need, I would say, more direction. And if they can assign, let's say, one person that can be a coach and can direct them and take them by the hand, even just for the beginning, that can make a huge difference, and maybe and quite a bit people to prevent them from falling out of the wagon. Just to know that how to buy things or to make things, and then when they know that yes, we can live on that, and it's even tasty and cheaper than what we used to, which it is. You can really create amazing stuff that will be tastier, cheaper, and to know where to buy it and to really take them by the hand and to show them. Many people might stay vegan, changing to vegan, rather than to listen to it. They want to do it, but they cannot cross the threshold energy in order to get there. So this vegan coach, if he or she is doing it in the right way, the right approach, definitely these people need to be very communicable. If they do it in the right way, that can make the whole difference for many people to change into vegan. And that's about it. So these are the different kinds of groups that They are just a sample, as we say. The people can come probably with different types of groups that they want. They can choose from this list. They can come from their own. They can merge some of those together. Everything is possible. It's what we need is basically passionate people that want to elaborate on the subject, bring it together, present it, and all of these things will be developed into, I would like to see it at the end as a chapters in a book. So there will be different chapters along this line or different, but there will be different chapters that will comprise at the end what I would see, it's called a green print, I would say, of the vegan state or the vegan mind or whatever we would like to call it. So that will create the knowledge that one person by itself it will be very hard to collect. But if we are a group of people and we collaborate, we can uh, we can come up with this ideal book that we can after that present it and to tell to people, yes, this is the book that we created and we really proud of it.